And now let's go to what some are calling a perfect storm for the airline industry. Thousands of people were stranded at the airport over the weekend, with over 8,000 flights delayed or canceled since Friday. Now more flights are impacted today. ABC News producer Sam Sweeney joins me now to help break this all down for us. Sam, thanks for being on. What is happening here?
Diane, look, this is the perfect storm. You have the busy summer rush. You have a shortage of pilots and flight attendants and ground workers. You have severe weather issues that have impacted us on Thursday and Friday, and then the ripple effect was felt throughout the weekend. And then you have air traffic control staffing shortages, particularly in the Jacksonville Center Control Center. That's one of the largest in the entire country, and it controls most flights above 18,000 feet across a large part of the southeastern United States. So when they have staffing issues there combined with weather, you have to reduce the amount of planes in the sky in these travel corridors along the East Coast, and that forces the airlines to cancel flights. It's like, imagine having a highway that's normally 6 lanes and you have to reduce it to 2 lanes, and the only way to do that is to cancel or delay flights, and that impacts all of us.
Yeah, but Sam, according to the TSA, air travel volumes this month are about 88% of where they were back in 2019. A TSA spokesman says it's the highest sustained level of output since the start of the pandemic. But we're not talking record numbers here. This isn't something the airlines haven't handled before, and we heard for a long time that air travel was going to be way up this summer. So why all these issues? Why aren't they prepared?
Well, when you have fewer planes in the sky because you don't have enough pilots and flight attendants to crew them, well, the planes are more full, obviously, and then you have more problems. So, yes, there's not exactly that many people flying, pre-pandemic, but you have fewer planes to accommodate those people. So when there are problems, for example, on Thursday and Friday when they cancel flights and then they have to move those people to other flights, it becomes much more difficult. And, turning an airline back on after, it lost 97% of its business doesn't happen overnight. If a pilot, for example, is out of the cockpit for more than 90 days, they have to go through retraining. Well, there's only a certain number of simulators to accommodate that. And we'll take Delta, for example. They lost about 1,800 pilots to early retirement. So they're bringing on about 200 pilots a month, 50 to 75 every single Wednesday graduate from their courses. But it's still not fast enough. And that's why Delta has said, look, we don't have the capacity to handle this. We're going to trim our flight schedule for July and August so there's a bit more cushion when we go into these peak travel periods.
So, Sam, what is the way around these staffing shortages? Is there one? Because it sounds like you can't just hire more people for all the reasons you just said.
It's going to take time. So if you're traveling this summer and there happens to be storms, especially in the Northeast, the New York area is the most congested airspace in the country. So you look at Newark, they allow about 89 landings and takeoffs per hour. If weather moves in or there's staffing shortages there, well, they're going to reduce that number from 89 to maybe 79 or 69 or even 35, cutting it in half. And that's going to have a ripple effect, not just in Newark and the Northeast, but across the entire country. And I want to mention Florida, where, again, back to that Jacksonville Center, there's also more flights going into Florida now than there was pre-pandemic. And now you also have rocket launches that are happening almost every week, so they have to navigate around that. And then you also have these summer storms in Florida, and you have the perfect storm.
And so, Sam, you talked about why it's so hard to hire more pilots and get enough pilots in the air, but that's not the only area where these airlines are seeing staffing shortages. So why can't they hire more people in these other areas?
It's tough. Look, they're giving out bonuses to baggage handlers and flight attendants, but again, it simply takes time. And then you bring in the FAA shortage. It can take anywhere between 4 and 8 years from the time someone applies to be an FAA air traffic controller until they are finished their training. It is a long, extensive process, and that's what's happening right now.
All right, so what can we expect heading into the July 4th holiday?
It's going to be very busy. You can expect high fares and full planes, and if there's any weather issue, especially again in the Northeast or anywhere along the eastern portion of the country, you can expect severe problems. But know that the airlines do have that cushion now. Delta just told me this morning that 92% of the people who experienced the flight cancellation this weekend were on another flight within 30 minutes to 7 hours. So good news there.
Sam Sweeney, thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.